What is up, A team? Welcome back. Awesome, here. Hope everyone's having an awesome day, or not, depending on what, but I hope it is awesome. And yes, we're back at it today to talk more about crypto, to obviously talk more about the markets, maybe even talk a little bit about some politics here. Obviously, that's playing a big factor into the markets and where they're at today. I mean, the markets have taken a massive dump. As you can see, over $500 billion completely wiped away from the stock market this morning, just because of all the stuff going on in Iran. Obviously, that's the hot topic right now. Just a lot of crazy stuff. But yeah, crypto has actually been holding up pretty strong. I mean, with all the stuff out there relative to where it's at, I mean, crypto's actually not been doing too bad. I mean, over the last 7 days, Bitcoin's roughly down about 1%. Ethereum's back down about 0.47%, about 0.5% over a 7 day span. So really not too bad. XRP back down to about 2% over a 7 day span. It really, I mean, the fluctuation and volatility is kind of flattened out over the last 7 days, considering all the stuff going on from a geopolitical standpoint. So, but before we jump into it all, I do want to say what's up to the A team. We got Just Maui in the house here. Got Skating Horse, Tall Paul, Griff. What's going on, buddy? Pink Ink in the house here. What's up, man? We got XCL Mafia, BP Kohler. What's up, buddy? Good to see you guys. Good to see XCL Mafia. Hope all is well with everyone. Yes, I was not on yesterday. As you guys know, Wednesdays I typically do not get on. And Tuesday I was not on because my daughter has been super sick with a massive ear infection, dude. Those things are the worst, bro. So yeah, that's kind of where it's been. But with all that, let's jump into it here. We got Jessica. What's up, Jessica? Good to see you. Crypto Bipto's in the house here. What's going on, guys? What's going on? But let's jump into it. We got some things to cover today. As you can see right now, cryptocurrency market is sitting around at 2.39 trillion, up about 0.01%, which is really just flat. Like I said, very, very flat. It's still sitting around the fear side right here. Right in the fear and greed. We're not doing too bad. It's been very flat right there. But you can see, like I was talking about, Bitcoin sitting about a 1.32% down. You got Ethereum down about 0.59%. Nothing too crazy. It's been kind of flat for the most part. You got things like this, Hyperliquid, obviously doing very, very well. These are your perpetual trading markets. I mean, perpetual trading is crazy right now. There's a massive amount of shorts and longs. We're going to talk about some liquidity grabs up in the air right now. The question is whether you're going to short the market or long the market. But the perpetual markets are still heating up massively. Hyperliquid doing very, very well right there. You can come down here. You can see our baby Hedera continues to fall. Fell about two spots from since Monday. It's back down about 4%, 5%, almost 5% over the last 7 days. So not looking too hot. But the stock market looking dreadful, right? Dow over 500 points, 526 points right now, down. You got the S&P 500 down about 76 and the NASDAQ down about 300. Obviously, this has to do with Iran and the United States-Israel war, obviously keeping the Strait of Hormuz shut. Again, I think that if we were, one thing that I have to say here is that if Trump's out here saying that we have obliterated everything, that we control everything, that they have nothing, then my question is, why is the Strait of Hormuz still shut? Like, I kind of think about that, and I'm just like, in my head, if we've done all this and everything's great, why is this shut? Is it because there's mines in the water like they were talking about? Maybe, but I don't know. I just kind of think to myself, like, you think that this would be open? You think that we'd have oil rolling through, so we can actually have a better looking oil reserve right now? As you guys can see, oil has went above breaking $95 a barrel as of right now, and continue to climb. And Trump came out and said that things look good. If you actually went and invested in BP and ExxonMobil, I mean, these things are actually doing pretty well today. I mean, they're making pretty good money. Arco's obviously down right now, but I mean, Exxon killing it, up to $2, about almost 2% today. BP's up about almost 1% today. But those are pretty good for the oil companies right now. It is pretty wild to sort of see. You can see right now over 500 billion was wiped out from the U.S. stock markets this morning. Just kind of crazy to wake up to and see the amount of red coming in on the stock markets. But like I told you, the cryptocurrency market's been kind of flat for the most part. I mean, it hasn't really budged a whole lot. We go back and look at some of the charts here. I mean, very, very flat across the board. This is on the 1 hour. Let's actually go to the daily here. If you go to the daily, like, look at this, dude. We've been pretty much online with about 138, which is where it's at right now. This has pretty much been where it's at the entire time. We just came in and filled a nice little fair value gap here on the daily chart right here. Now, the big question is whether we're going to continue downward or go back up. And I'd say based off where we're at right now, we've been in this over purchased area for quite some time now, basically since February of this year. So almost a month now we've been up towards the top, and we haven't came down and got a full reset on this. So you go back and look, I mean, we typically, when we're up this long, I mean, last time we were up this long, we were back over here in June to about roughly July. So we're up here for about a month, and we had a pretty big fallout here from that time frame, right? We went all the way up, and then we came back down, right? So again, very flat. This one actually spiked back up and had a nice little rally before it came back down. So something to consider. We have a nice little flat area right here, came up and came down. We're building a nice little floor right here. Now it's just a matter of whether we continue to trend up or go down. And different time zones, different time frames. You can see right here, we've definitely extended this one very flat. It'll be interesting to sort of see what happens here. Friday's right around the corner. Fridays typically are not good days to be in the market. I mean, if you're gonna long or short something, usually Fridays are the days where you go and you short the markets, and that's kind of what's leading up to today. You go back and look at the previous days. This is, again, I'm just looking at XRP here. We can look at Bitcoin. Everything's a little bit different here, but when we go back and look at Friday. This is last Friday, right? We came down Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We came down pretty hot from Thursday to Friday. We went down almost roughly 8%. Last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then you go back over here basically to, Thursday, Friday. We came down another roughly, I don't know, how much was that before we bounced back? That was roughly another, 14% before we had the bounce back. So what this is showing me is that almost every Friday, Thursday, Friday, we have a bounce. We have a hit down here. Even Friday last time we came down, we bounced back, but we came trending way back down over the weekend. So over the last 3 weeks, I'd say that we've not done too well on a Thursday going into Friday. You can see yesterday we kind of got left with the doji candle right here in the red, not looking too hot there. So XRP looking like, tech, based off history, short is kind of in for the win right now. Also, going back over here to Ethereum. Ethereum's another one that's on the daily as well. Definitely hasn't reset itself. It's coming back up here, but it looks like it's going to have another relief down here at about 1909, which is another little fair value gap that needs to be filled down here. And again, go back to Friday, to Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. We tend to do the same exact things: fall down off this little cliff here, reset, and rebuild. And same with Bitcoin here, same exact thing. Everything looks the same on the RSIs. Everything looks the same on the MACDs. I do think that we're going to come down and probably fill some fair value gaps because that just sort of seems like how Thursday, Fridays work. And on top of that, if you're looking at where this is going to go, look at the liquidity that's here, dude. The liquidity is kind of crazy right now. I got put in my title there. The liquidity grab is pretty crazy. There's some long positions up here. There's definitely some short, and the market has to make up its mind of where it's going to go. But Tim Shea, we got the mayor of crypto in the house here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well, Tim. Who else we got here? I said, what's up to Chipper, dude? We got Chameleon in the house. What's up, Chameleon? Good to see you, dude. We got Road Dog. What's up, Road Dog? Good to see you as well. If you had to buy a couple of stocks right now, what would you buy? Well, I said a couple weeks ago I'd be buying oil stocks, right? Oil stocks seem to be the ones where it's at. I probably wouldn't stay long term in my oil stocks. I'd continue to buy, dude. Like, honestly, just continue to buy. Like down here, I probably stick to Nvidia down here. Like these are the ones that you want to stick to, dude. Apple. I still think these are really good. You even go down in here into Tesla. Like Tesla is still looking really solid. I bought it at 225, but it's come down significantly. It's right down here on the 200-day moving average. Right down here, we're going to probably bounce off this thing nicely. Like Tesla's still a big factor here. I stick to some of those, dude. But to each our own on this. To each our own on how we go about this. I think we all have our own opinions on where things are going to go. But I definitely think anything like AI related, anything tech related, chip building, Intel, those kind of things, I would definitely stick around. You can see Intel's even bounced back nicely off of this daily. But this is going to probably come down. I would probably hold off. You can see right now this daily is well oversold right here. Or sorry, it's overpurchased. And we could tend to bounce around up here for a little bit longer and maybe go a little bit higher, get up back up to like maybe 48, 50 on Intel right here. But this will come back down. The daily is going to probably come down and reset. The good thing is the weekly is down at the bottom here. It's just a matter of where this goes. But they've got some pretty big fair value gaps down here to worry about. So, yeah, we're going to start to see. You can see right here, we actually had a nice little golden cross right here. You can see the 50 cross back above on the weekly here. The 50 cross back above the 200 and the 100-day moving average. So that's actually a pretty good sign. That we could probably stabilize here and do well. But these are all just, stocks that I would probably buy into. But like I said, teach on that one. Do you think the X payments will integrate crypto? I think it will. Yeah, I think it will. Dogecoin's probably going to be going. It's probably going to pop off with him out there. You know what I mean? Inca Stan, what's up, buddy? Hope all is well with you, man. Yeah, Cool Cat. What's up, Cool Cat? Got Cool Cat in the house here. What's up, buddy? Hope all is well with you too, man. And so you can see the liquidity right here, dude. BTC dropped to 69,000 yesterday, liquidating 103 million shorts. 192 million liquidated in the past 24 hours. I mean, the amount of money that's going into these perpetual trading platforms is just wild, dude. And then what's happening is, unfortunately, most people are getting liquidated because they're just putting in too much. They're putting in too much leverage, dude. You guys are using way too much leverage. Or anywhere from 500x to 100x to 50x's is crazy to me. I mean, that's just straight gambling. There's ways to make pretty good money if you actually control your leverage. And unfortunately, people are trying to turn they're trying to turn $10 into $100,000 overnight, like or $10 into $1,000, and it just then they keep getting liquidated, and eventually that adds up, right? I mean, you got millions of people doing this, each adding $10 here, $100 there, $50 here, and large amounts get liquidated overnight. But as you can see right here, however, after recent liquidations at 71 and 74, now has almost identical amounts of liquidity clusters above, making it a 50-50 from liquidity perspective, which means that bears could be in trouble here, but also there's a lot of liquidity to be grabbed down below. So you got to think about this from two sides. I mean, right now we know that the markets are a little bit rough. We know that the RSIs are actually looking good on the weekly, but at the same time, there's a massive amount of liquidity to be grabbed down here below the 69 to 66. Look at that, dude. And then there's a lot of liquidity to be grabbed from 72 right up here to about 74. And so we'll probably be in this range for a while, bouncing between these two levels until all the liquidity is actually grabbed, and then we'll make a play for one side or the other. I already read that. GC was a crazy this morning, and I had to close the chat. Oh no, GEC was crazy. What's GEC? I don't know what GEC is. Elon said X payments will be live next month. Yeah, I saw that. It's just a matter of whether he actually integrates crypto or not. Cam missed it today. I don't know who GEC is. I don't know who that is. Good evening, crypto. Another XRP YouTube. Oh, okay. It was crazy. It was crazy when I had to close the chat. Oh, is there just like a lot of crazy stuff going on there? Yeah, I mean, like, hey, dude, like there's a lot of people out there that are positive for XRP, a lot of people that are negative on XRP. I'm probably sure you got a lot of it, dude. It's going to be either XLM or XRP for the X payments. I think it's XLM. You think so? You think XRP would be crazy. XLM would be interesting. I don't know how it works. Too much drama. Yeah, I try to stay clear of that. Even though I've been digging into some political posts here lately, just in regards to my state of Washington. But yeah, you get a lot of crazy people coming at you from a political standpoint. Like, it's just wild, dude. If you put your face on YouTube, if you put your face out there for the public, people are always going to attack you. It's always going to be drama, dude. It's kind of how it works. Yeah. I heard the rumors of XLM being used for X money. Not sure. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to work. I honestly don't know how it's probably going to shock everyone, and they're not going to use. It's probably going to be like Doge. I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? But what you can see right here is that we're trading on a very similar pattern to the 2022 bear consolidation. So it's actually a pretty good chart. If you take the previous chart of 2022 and you match it up to where we're at today, almost identical to a certain degree here. And you can see that the fallout is going to be, this happened in 2022 where we built up, and then, right around this time we had basically a fallout here before we had a nice little rally back up. And that very well can happen. I mean, people are calling for 55,000 Bitcoin. I mean, that's pretty much what most people are calling for, is a 55,000 Bitcoin. And go back and you look at Bitcoin and look at our numbers here, and you can see that that's kind of where a lot of this has gone. A lot of people are talking about this liquidity down here sitting, and there's some liquidity to be grabbed still down here. I mean, obviously these are still open, but I mean, yeah, that 55,000 mark is still on there, and we're still at the bottom here. There's still room to grow. The good thing is that there's a massive fair value gap between 85 and about 79 right here on the daily. And this could actually bounce up and hit this before we go back down. To me personally, I'd rather just get it out of the way. I'd rather just get the pain out of the way, hit this 55, and then let's make a recovery. Like that's kind of where I'm at. I hope to see that. And then you go over here to Ethereum, and there's a fair value gap sitting right here around 1719, which again, I think could possibly be hit. We have our numbers here, which are about 1800. I hope it doesn't go below it, but I mean, there is one little fair value gap to get this like last little liquidity grab down here. And you can see a lot of support sitting here at 1641. I mean, that's a It's a good amount of support right there. Let's see here. Grok says X will mainly traditional banking rails, not necessarily a single blockchain. Okay. So you're trying to make it like PayPal, BP. Make it like PayPal. What's up, Guy? Good to see you, Guy. Hope all is well, my friend. At least not an announcement of what it was running next money, just that it's close to launch. Okay. Is XRP ever coming back? Yeah, XRP is going to come back, dude, for sure. I'm so sick of the stupid Kraken commercials. What's up, Adam? Good to see you, buddy. The Kraken commercials. You don't like the Kraken commercials, dude? You don't like the Kraken commercials? Why don't you like the Kraken commercials? Kraken commercials are pretty good. Some of them, anyways, right? Good to see that the just came out today. The U.S. Senate votes to include banning of the federal central banking digital currency in a housing bill. Kind of interesting, but I mean, the U.S. I think this will be a good thing here. I mean, obviously, we want to ban this. I mean, I don't think CBDCs is not where we want to go. Unfortunately, that kind of was the topic of this whole discussion. Was that in the Clarity Act, there was almost like it was going to create an opening to create CBDCs. And I sure as hell hope that didn't happen, dude. Well, where will XRP go if BTC and ETH hits those lower prices? I was saying that it's going to probably go below $1, dude. You can see there's a really big, let's go to this one. It's a little bit better. There's a really fat fair value gap right here between 105 and 50 and 60, dude. Like I said, usually these fair value gaps get filled at some point. So, I mean, like this could come down to like, again, I'm not here to be bearish, but I mean, like it's reading us right in the face here. If Bitcoin and those go down to these levels, I mean, I could see, this come down to $1 and start to fill up this fair value gap. You know what I mean? I know people don't want to hear that, but I mean, it's right there for the taking. You can see there's a ton of levels here for liquidity grabs along the way on the daily. And, the daily it's getting up here. It's getting over purchased again, right? We could have a nice little rally out of this. But I mean, I think this is probably going to trend down. We got to get a reset. We haven't had a reset since February 3rd, dude. We're well over a month since the last time the daily has reset for crypto, and we haven't really bounced out of it. You know what I mean? We had a nice little recovery when it came down to 112 and then bounced all the way back up to 160. Whoever hit that made a ton of money over a 7-day period if you actually did some perpetuals in on that. But this is telling me that like it's looking like we're gonna eventually it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down at some point. The weekly is trying to recover here, but the weekly, the daily could come down, and the weekly will still look okay. So what's going on? Are you saying we should sell our XRP to get in a position? It depends on where you're at with your XRP. Like I've always said that. I mean, I think it's important to know where you're at with your XRP and what your plan is to do with it. I mean, if you're already below water, that's a tough decision. I mean, if you're still in the profits, and you think it could go down further, I mean, there's a chance to take some profits and move forward. I mean, but yeah, I think that there's some risk out there for this to come down, but there's also a chance for this to bounce back nicely, dude. I've already said that I think that we're looking for some kind of bounce back. I mean, look at this, dude. There's a nice little fair value gap right up here at 172. I mean, so as much as we can talk about the negatives, there's still positives too. For me, I'm just holding, dude. I don't really care where it goes. You know what I mean? I don't care if it goes down. I'm just gonna be sitting here, dude. Let's take a look at the monthly. I haven't looked at the monthly. What's up, Kev? Good to see you, buddy. Let's take a look at the monthly. Monthly is definitely down. It's definitely, oversold, right? And the monthly usually only sits down here for about 2 months, right? I mean, on average, it hits the bottom, and we're at the bottom, dude, for XRP. So it's like, the monthly is actually looking pretty positive. And that's why I said, I mean, we could have like one more, a couple more days where we hit a level and then have a nice little bounce back to recover the monthly. But again, you could do something like this right here where it comes up and then comes right back down and hits another bottom, right? Those things are all within play here. This one came back up, looking pretty good right here, and then we came down and actually hit a new bottom. So all things to consider, even with the monthly looking the way it's looking, this usually will have some kind of buildup. Let's actually look at this one. Let's see what Ethereum looks on the monthly. Yeah, the monthly for Ethereum looks really good too. We obviously had a prolonged, multiple months, almost 9 months down here. Last time I was at the bear, we were down here for almost 9 months, and then we had this little recovery here. So, I mean, technically we could probably be down here we just hit towards the bottom here. We could be down here till October. I mean, it's kind of showing that. Same with Bitcoin. Usually when the monthly comes out here, we usually tend to be down here for how long? This one came down for April to almost a freaking year, dude. April to April, about a year. This one came down in March of 2018 and started to recover in about March of 2019. Then we came down here and we hit the bottom down here in February 2022. And we didn't start recovering until about December of 2022. And now we just came down here. We hit this little bottom here. Let me get this little thing out here on the monthly. Came down here. We hit the bottom here in January. And so if we're saying we're anywhere from 9 months to a year, we're probably not going to recover till, November, December, January of 2027. So that's kind of what this is looking like if we're going to go based off monthly. I mean, it's a pretty good trend on the RSI right there. I mean, that's pretty eye-opening, to be honest with you. And doesn't mean that you can have little fluctuations in here. Because look at this, dude. Like, here's a good example of like where I said we're going to have a relief, right? So the monthly's down at the bottom here, okay, down at the bottom, and then look, we have a nice little relief right here. So we hit bottom, and we have a nice little relief, and then we hit bottom again. So we could have reliefs like this. Boom, relief. Go back over here. I'm sure we can probably pull something back up in here that shows there's some reliefs. Look, we had some reliefs right here back in 2018. And I'm sure if we probably went back all the way to 2014, we'd probably see the same and or similar patterns. And so you can have these reliefs in between here on each of these and still make it. And that can happen here, dude. There could be a relief that comes up here. We get back into the 70s, 80s, and then we drop back off again. That very well can happen, dude. But everything's kind of looking right in our face, dude. I'm just a long-term guy. The daily, weekly thing is boring. But I usually use that, Kev, for when we're doing some leverage trades. I'm looking at the daily and the weekly for where I'm, because obviously I put longs in, I put shorts in. I don't go out there and go crazy on them. I think the most I use now is probably a 10x on my leverage. Usually I'm shooting about $1,000 per coin and or token that I'm trading. With Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin, I usually do about 1,000 on a 10x. I'm trading about $10,000 for each of those, and obviously set my stop losses. I use about a 2% stop loss on them, and typically you have really good range with that 10x, and the chances are you can usually recover no matter what, dude. Unless there's a liquidation event, you can usually work your way out of any position at a 10x. I mean, it's actually super easy, but unfortunately, people just do not use 10x. People want that 50x, they want that 100x, they want that 500x, and that's just straight degen, dude. And that's not me. That's not me, dude. I'm not selling because that would be selling compressed money. Yeah, probably would, dude. What's up, Andrew B? You got Andrew B in the house here. What's up, buddy? I'm hoping for a rally and the war somehow suddenly stops. That'd be nice. So is XCL dead now or what? I don't know, dude. I've kind of just stayed out of everything with XCL. I'm still holding. I still got my money up here. XCL's come down obviously a little bit. Well, 17,000 right now. Since obviously taking this beating, it's still kind of flattened out. But I still hold, dude, just hoping that maybe something comes back around, man, honestly. Don't say it could be December because if Dems win midterms, we could be screwed. It'll be interesting to sort of see how this plays out. There's a lot of turmoil right now. But the Democrats are not helping themselves either. I mean, they have such a good chance. If the Democrats just changed a little bit of their tune, they would rake the Republicans over the coals. But unfortunately, they can't change their tune with a lot of things, dude. Like, I'll give you an example. I mean, the SAVE Act is pretty. When you think about the SAVE Act, it's a pretty good common sense. To me personally, it's a common sense thing that we should be looking at. Like, I think that elections should be fair. I don't think mail-in ballots. I mean, we saw all the things that compromised mail-in ballots. Like, I think that you should go in, you should vote, you should have ID, you should be a U.S. citizen. Like, I agree with all those things. And unfortunately, the Democrat Party does not want to jump on board with that, and it's just crazy to me. There's other things too that I think that if they jumped on board with, they'd get so much more momentum towards their way. But unfortunately, they can't do that. A good example is here in Washington. You know what I mean? Taxing the hell out of the citizens, dude. I mean, like, unfortunately, that's what a lot of Democrats do, is that they're big government and they want to just keep taxing their constituents. They want to keep taxing their, like Washingtonians. I mean, to put an income tax and to raise that level is just crazy to me. Especially how Washington's been such a great place for so many years and it's operated just fine. And then, you get this agenda, the Democratic agenda across a lot of blue states now to implement income taxes. And then you got all the red states out here that are trying to amend and take out their income taxes. It's just crazy how it's just so radical left, so radical right. Like, where's the moderates? Where are the people in the middle that can actually look at both sides and agree and disagree? But at the end of the day, stay in the middle. There's some things that you can agree on, but unfortunately, when you have far left, far right, both extreme, they'll never have compromise. And that's kind of where we're at, I feel, in a lot of scenarios. I agree with if you actually read every line of the SAVE Act, even Republicans have said it's bad. That's fine. I mean, like, I guess for me, the SAVE Act is dead. Yeah, but I mean, for me, what it comes down to is whatever all the words of the SAVE Act. I haven't gone through the SAVE Act and looked at every single line in there, but I mean, the basics of what it is, I think it's important. You know what I mean? I do not think I think that you should be a U.S. citizen to vote in our elections. Are we in agreement with that? Do we agree with that at least? Like, I guess that's the first thing. Is like, do you think you should be a U.S. citizen to vote in our elections? And if the answer is no, then my next question is why? Why would you want that? Why would you want people who are not U.S. citizens to be voting in elections that make the decision for our future, for our kids' future? How come Chicago believe? Oh, how come Chicago believe me? I know taxes. Oh yeah, Chicago. Yeah, definitely up there. It's interesting how the RSI topped on that monthly at the last all-time high, trended down for the rest of the move. Yeah, isn't that kind of weird? That was kind of weird. I would agree. Just because Exhale's quiet doesn't mean it's dead. Sometimes building takes some time. I would agree, Axel. That's a good point, dude. Brad Scamming House has ruined 2026 for us by saying it will be a good year. He's been promising good stuff since 2019. Yes, 100% common sense. 100% need to be a U.S. citizen to vote. Only U.S. citizens vote. You consider Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens? I don't think that they are, right? I guess according to law, they're not a U.S. citizen, right? Are Puerto Ricans? I mean, you have to give up, like Jake Paul can't vote in our election because he gave up his right to vote by living in Puerto Rico. So, yeah, we agree on all that, but the SAVE Act in its current form is not likely to pass. Yeah, and that's unfortunate, right? I mean, the whatever was added to the SAVE Act to make it be compromised like this is on the Republicans, right? I mean, if that's the case, where the SAVE Act has things in there that shouldn't be in there, then that's really on the Republican Party to have that in there. They should have been better about writing up the law. So there's something stated directly from Republicans in government. Yeah. Look at it this way: come the next alt season, all the lettuce heads will be long gone. True. The lettuce hands, yeah. Puerto Ricans living in Puerto Rico can't vote in general elections. They're only a Commonwealth. Yeah, I didn't think they could. I remember hearing, Jake Paul say he couldn't vote in elections because of that. Because he gave up his right when he moved out there. But yeah, if I'm going to put in a position today, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if I put in a position today, it's probably going to be a short. Only U.S. citizens can participate in our elections by federal law now. The SAVE Act is unnecessary. Yeah, but we already know that there's a ton of fraud out there, dude. Like, just here in Washington alone, dude, there's so much fraud on mail-in ballots. Like, I think mail-in ballots are trash. We had in-person elections in 2004 here in Washington. And then that whole thing shifted to mail-in ballots. And then when COVID hit, like, everything became 100% mail-in ballots. And unfortunately, the ballot harvesting here in Washington is just, I don't think it's legit. I really don't. I question it. I think all the mail-in stuff is wild. And that's just my personal opinion, right? We all have our own opinions here. Why can't we go in and just vote? Why can't a majority of people just go in and vote? And why can't we show ID? What is against showing ID? I mean, just for me to go buy Jameson, I got to show ID. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that we allow people to vote. And here in Washington, I mean, they just passed a law that allow people, non-citizens, to become, you don't have to be a United States citizen now to become a police officer in the state of Washington. That's crazy to me, dude. You have people out here who are not citizens of the United States of America that are in your state enforcing law in which that it's I have a hard time, dude. Maybe it's just me. Of course, you should be a U.S. citizen to vote. We can't vote in their country isn't illegal. Did you hear Trump stepping up for Jake Paul? I did see that. Yeah, I did see something like that. I think the new narrative will we be another alt season? Alt season's kind of, I don't know if there's gonna be another alt season. I think that there's a handful of, if you're not an ETF, if your project isn't an ETF, you're not going to make it. That's kind of where it's at, dude. The ETFs have some, like, the XRPs, the Solanas, the ETH, the Bitcoin. You go down the list of all the ones that have had ETFs. Those will probably continue to do very well. All the other little alts out there that haven't really got a whole lot of traction behind them, they'll probably continue to dwindle. You know what I mean? Selmo, what's up, buddy? Canadians are way more American than Puerto Ricans. Oh my God. What's up, Selmo? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, tax harvesting too, right? I meant to say, yeah, you need to show who you are on the DMV, but not to vote. It amazes me this is even a debate. I would agree. That's where I'm having a hard time, RW. I have a hard time debating this because it's just like that's the common. Like I believe in that. We talk about the whole common sense thing. I mean that's as most common sense as it gets. You know what I mean? All Trump has to do is make sure you have real ID requirements for real ID. Yeah, the real ID is actually kind of annoying to get. It's not easy to get real ID. I mean, in all reality, it's kind of really annoying. You got to make appointments. You got to bring in your stuff. And it can be a burden, man. I can see getting real ID has been a pain in the ass because to fly, you either have an enhanced here in the state. I'm sure all of you guys have flown. You got to have a real ID, a passport, and or an enhanced license. And that's basically a real ID. So, what Rockefellers and Wizard of Oz. If your crypto doesn't have ETFs and perpetuals, then you might be gone. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I would agree, dude. We got Crypto Dreams coming in here hot for the $2 super chat, dude. I believe an ID is not proof of citizenship. Yeah, I mean, I think getting an ID, if you're going to get a real ID or a passport, or it's going to deter. To get an ID, I think you have to have some form of. Yeah, you're right. I don't think it's actually not going to show your citizenship for sure. But you should. I think that you should be a U.S. citizen to vote in U.S. elections. Like, I mean, it's crazy to think that we would allow people who are not a U.S. citizen to vote in an election. That's crazy to me. Like, just think about that. And we're the only country in the world that allows this to even happen, dude. We're the only country debating this. I mean, you got countries out there and like Nigeria that require you to have retina scan before you can vote. We have Nigeria has better elections than we do. Like, that's pretty crazy. Citizen voting are different. I think you should be a citizen of the United States to vote. Do illegals have birth certificates? They do not. I don't think so. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. If you, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they get birth. If they have a baby at the hospital, if they get a birth certificate, I would assume they would. But yeah, I would agree with you, Harry. Yeah, it's definitely a U.S. territory in the Caribbean's making it right. Yeah, I know that, and it's because it's not a state and lacks voting representation in Congress. Exactly. No, I know that, Harry, and that's where they're talking about making Puerto Rico a state, right? They've been talking about that for a long time. They've been talking about making it a state. They've been talking about making Washington D.C. a state. They've been talking about all that kind of stuff, right? Making these territory states, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. DC doesn't have representation either. Yeah. So they've been talking about that, but I mean, that's the thing though, is that if the Puerto Rico becomes a state, it's probably going to become probably going to become a blue state. If DC becomes a state, it's going to become a blue state, and then how much does that add to the electoral? I don't know. We'll see. DC doesn't have representation either, but they can vote. So Puerto Rico citizens are U.S. citizens. Well, I mean, I think if you're a territory of the United States, I mean, I have no problem saying that they're a U.S. citizen. I mean, you're a territory of the United States. Like, you can fly there. You can go there without a passport. You know what I mean? Like, it is crazy they can't vote. No chance someone on the gas fees. No, it's not about people being U.S. citizens. You mean U.S. citizens from a yeah. Anyways, I think that's kind of where I stand. Like I said, everyone has their own opinions on this, and that's kind of where it's at. I know too many people who shouldn't be allowed pets making political decisions. True, right? That is true. I give you that. So, like I said, I mean, right now we got Bitcoin sitting here. We know that usually Fridays are kind of rough days. Last Friday, you can see right here, we came down pretty hot. Right now, we've actually looked pretty good, but everything's kind of leading towards potential for the markets to come down. And nothing even in a geopolitical standpoint is even looking pretty good for the United States and looking for our economy right now. I mean, there's just massive battles over a lot of stuff here. Pretty wild. It's an absolute nonsense. The fact that we are even talking about this crap makes me wonder what happened to not true. Real ID solves the problem. This SAVE Act doesn't include more polls to stay open so every American can vote. Nothing in the SAVE Act to have National Day of Voting. Yeah, I think that's important too, King Pound, to have a National Day of Voting. I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe there should be an IQ test to vote. A lot of people would fail an IQ test, bro. It doesn't matter who can or can't vote anyways. It's all rigged. Feels that way sometimes, right? Definitely feels that way. I mean, especially what's happened here in Washington State. I mean, Washington State's a perfect example of where I feel like the voting is like there's just no way to determine 100% if the voting is correct. I mean, look what's just happened with the income tax passing. A majority of Washingtonians, 90% of Washingtonians are against an income tax. We know it's unconstitutional. It's been written in our Constitution that they can't have an income tax, yet they pushed it through under the emergency fund thing that they're doing, and they're forcing it upon 90% of the people that don't want it, and that's just like that to me is wild. I mean, there's obviously an agenda there. If there's 90% of your constituents, 90% of the people do not want it, yet you continue to push through with it because you have the power to do so. That's a wild thing to me. Democracy stops after the votes are counted, right? Requires a civics test for Congress. It does. Well, I mean, don't you have to? I think to require a civic test for Congress would be great. You know what I mean? I mean, you should have to. You should have to go through it. Shouldn't protect, but the government has no problem doing so. Crypto Dreams kind of feels that way sometimes. Dude, right? Democracy stops after the votes are counted. That is true. I would agree. I would be on board with that. Freedom Use is a big business and it's controlling the markets. It is. What's going on in Portland, brother? That's your people. Portland's not my people. Portland's crazy. Well, Washington's become one of the worst states to live in now. After this income tax thing came through, Washington's by far one of the worst states to live in. If you make good money. You in an oil trade? I am not in any oil trades, bro. Are you, Kev? Are you doing some oil trades right now? I mean, they should have to take one, and the scores should be public for each congressperson. I would agree. Million. I mean, some people would probably be out. Yeah, they can't. Man, there's people that can't even do. There's people that can't even do simple math, bro. They can't. They can't even read street signs. They don't know the difference between red light, green light. Oh man, term limits would be incredible, but yeah, like that's gonna happen. Term limits are super. I think term limits are super important, dude. I'm so over these people being in office for You got the Mitch McConnells, like, dude, that guy is literally a walking. That guy's just like, he's just a walking corpse at this time, dude. Like, he should just go retire and enjoy his retirement, dude. Like, it's sad to me that they would allow a vegetable to be still walking around making decisions for us, dude. Most can't read clocks anymore. I don't even think that most people can read. I still think a lot of people still are illiterate, dude. Here, I mean, I think there's a pretty good number of people who are illiterate in America still, dude. Yeah, about 43 million adults are illiterate or have low literacy skills, dude. That is crazy. Approximately 21% of U.S. adults are considered functionally illiterate. 20% of America is illiterate, dude. That is, dude. Oh my God, dude. That is a fun fact of the day right there. Holy crap, dude. 20%, dude. 20% of Americans are illiterate. 45 million people can't read above a 5th grade reading level. That is, dude, what the freak? I didn't even know that until just now, dude. But that's crazy. A lot of people think a quarter of an hour is 25 minutes. Oh, dude, that's so funny. to quarter till, and they're like, dude. That's it. Adam, what's up, buddy? Thanks so much for the $5 super chat, dude. What's up, A-Team? Hi, fan. Wow, so much winning. I know. So much winning. It's so much. The good thing is that we are winning right now. You know how we're winning? Is because the cryptocurrency market has been super flat since February. Almost a month where we have not moved at all. Up and down. But I mean, for the most part, we've been on this line about 2,000 for Ethereum. Same with Bitcoin. We've been on this line for about 70,000. Haven't really moved above it. Everything's kind of just been flat across the board here. Haven't had a lot of movement. So yeah, kind of interesting to see how that works out. I'm surprised it isn't higher. I'm still shocked. 20% is high to me, dude. That's a high. That's high. Those 20% are. Anybody heard of? I have not heard of that, Adam. That's high, dude. Dude, that 20%. That's a lot, dude. 20%. 50 million people in the state of in America can't read above a fifth grade reading level. That's a WTF moment, dude. Did you know most markets firms in the U.S. advise at a fifth grade reading level based on what you just said? Yeah, and they advertise at a fifth grade. That's probably true, dude. Right, dude. So if it goes to a fourth grade, we're really screwed because it's going to go down even further, dude. Just wait until these COVID kids become adults. You know what's crazy, Rocco? I actually disagree with that. You know why? Because these COVID kids. Well, okay. I'm speaking on behalf of my kids. My kids are COVID kids. They use the resources that these kids use are pretty crazy, dude. Like they're using AI already in school. Like they're using things that we didn't have to solve a lot of things here. And they're already writing codes. They're already writing, they're doing a lot of things that like we weren't doing. And so I would say that, I don't know, man. I would say that maybe some kids probably, yeah, definitely. I think there's probably always going to be a range of kids within a generation that are, just like we have right now. We have the lower 20%. We got the middle class. We got the top, 20%, and then we got the top 1% of people, right? Same thing in every class. I mean, and same thing in every generation. You're gonna have the bottom of the barrel. You're gonna have the top of the barrel, right? And in between. But I do think this generation is the tech generation. Like, I mean, they're the ones that are growing up with the tech. They're the ones that are already using the tech at a very young age, and they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be like light years ahead of where we were at the same stage because of the amount of access they have to the tech that's already there, dude. It's I don't even think it's comparable. I don't know if it's a common phenomenon, but it seems that the older I get, the dumber the youngins seem. Yeah, I'd say that I would say that there's where there is a lack of, at least in my kids, where there's a lack is the street smarts, dude. Like I'd say that I was a very street smart kid. I did well in school, but like I think where I was best was just being a really good person, like kid, and being very street smart and savvy, right? And knew how to talk, was respectful. That gets you a long way. Now, most kids are very shy. They're not very talkative. They're, they kind of, they're not going to go hold doors. You're not going to see a ton of kids holding doors open for people. Saying thank you. You don't see a lot of that. Like my kids do, but I'm just saying, like, you don't see that a lot. Like it's just a different thing. And then the street, like they're not out riding their bikes and playing in parks and climbing trees. There's some kids, but not a lot. You just don't see that anymore. And so I think there's just a difference in that. But when it comes to like skill set, on a computer or an AI, like my kids are light years ahead of others. Like, I mean, like my son's already coding. He's already building games. He's already doing a bunch of things. My daughters, they're out there doing a ton of stuff as well. And so like, I don't know. I guess I look at it totally different, dude. I live in California. All the news put out of the FBI, we have impossible Iran. Dude, I saw that, dude. And then they came back and said that it was just a rumor. And then everyone had to apologize. I can't wait till we get home. We'll be charging $200 an hour to change fuses and shit. That's right. I told my son, dude. I literally told my son the other day. I said the money to be made in the next 20 years is to be an electrician, to be a plumber, even to probably be a carpenter at this point. because like no one's going to know how to even change a light bulb. No one's going to even know how to do anything, right? They're just going to call someone up and expect someone to come out here. And unfortunately, the trade markets are going down exponentially, dude. Like finding good people that actually know the trade is super hard. You people will be out there, they'll run a business saying that they think that they know how to do things, but in all reality, they're subpar. There's no people out there that are really good. I mean, that's starting to come down. That's my, my parents' generation, even some of our generation. But like, yeah, that's where it's going to be at, dude. In the trades is where the money's going to be made, dude. 20% to 27% of Americans voters are MAGA supporters. I mean, but see, the thing is that like, you could say they're MAGA voters where, they're conservative, but you got to think, I mean, like voters go too far right or too far left right now. There's no moderates. Like, where's the moderates, skating horse? Like, where's the people in between? That's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the people in between because I'm an in-between person. Like I can see sides from the Democratic side. There's things I agree with the Democrats on. There's things I agree with the Republicans on. I am probably an extreme moderate, dude. Like that's kind of where I make my own thoughts and move around that way. Because there's things that obviously the Democrat, I mean, there's things that you need that the Democratic Party push, and you're like, you need that kind of stuff, right? There's some things out there that you're like, yeah, I mean, like, you can't take away all the Medicaid, you can't take away all the Medicare, you can't take away all the food stamps. Like, you can't do that because all that would do is just bring the poverty line up even higher, right? And you just can't do that. You can't do that. So, I mean, you have to find some way in between to agree with certain things. But unfortunately, we don't have that. We don't have that we don't have that in Washington State. We don't have that in the United States. We go look, like, watch the Senate. The Senate literally can't come to any agreement whatsoever, unless it's about not releasing sexual harassment data, right? Then they'll agree on that kind of stuff. They'll agree on not releasing Epstein files. We are currently living in an idiocracy. That's such a good movie. That mostly affects the early development process of kids' social abilities. I never put a mask on my kid, and by the time he was in school, it was over. Yeah, that's probably a good thing, though. Unfortunately, my kids were in school, and they had to wear a mask, right? So they go through that whole deal. I've noticed critical thinking is almost gone. Critical thinking's tough, dude. Yeah. More than is a lack of work on cars, cooks, personal finance. Things just need to be. I would agree, Tall Paul. What do you advise your 15-year-old crypto trader for the 15-year-old crypto trader? Dude, they should just learn charts, man. Just learn the basics of charts, learn the basics of finance. You know what I mean? Understand. I think that's what it comes down to for me. If I'm teaching my son about crypto, obviously he knows a little bit about crypto, but it's mostly about being able to manage it, being able to I sit down sometimes with him and show him some charts. You know what I mean? How it works. So. Any word on Pure Wallet? I have no idea, Adam. Honestly, I have no idea, bro. There's a lack of basic skills. If the power goes out at a restaurant or store, many can't do the math for your bill. Dude, it's so true. Because we rely so much on we rely heavily. And, I catch myself doing it too now. I can't sit here and say I'm clean because you know what? I used to be such a good speller. I'd be such a good speller, dude. And my spelling has gone down significantly since you got autocorrect on like your phone. You're texting and it just autocorrects. Like, yeah, I mean, like my spelling has gone down. Like, so we rely heavily on some things, and it just kind of does deteriorate in some way. Trade schools are where it's at. Colleges have failed us. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think trade schools are probably the best thing. Like I told my son, I think unless he wants to become a doctor or wants to become a lawyer or wants to become something of those lines, yes, go to a college, find your passion, do whatever. But if like that nothing excites you outside of that, like go find a trade that you can work in, that you can actually use to your benefit, because I think that's where the money's at in the future. Because like I said, we're going to AI, we're going to all these things, we're going to where people just are. It's almost like everyone wants to become an office worker. Everyone wants to become a trader. Everyone wants to become this one. No one's actually out there putting in the work to do the blue collar work. It's just going out. You know what I mean? These odd jobs we grew up learning as kids seems way above their heads. Dude, like even mowing a yard, dude, mowing a lawn. I mean, how many kids probably go out there and mow their lawns? Probably not a lot, dude. I was freaking like 12 years old mowing lawns, bro. You know what I mean? I was out there, mowing lawns, weed eating, blowing at the age of 12. You know what I mean? Fixing small little engines with my dad. But I mean, like, today, I mean, I haven't done that for so long. You asked me to go fix a carburetor, I'd be like, I don't know. I had to YouTube that one. But back then, you kind of knew what to do. I got 5K into the pure wallet and still waiting. I got 8K, bro. I feel you, dude. I'm waiting for it too. Does the current gen know what a choke on an engine is? Right. I mean, even pulling the choke, right? No, I'd probably say they don't know. You know what I mean? On how important that is, dude. I was talking about the 20%. Oh, sorry, my bad, skating horse. That's funny. Yeah, Washington State is beautiful. I like Seattle, and it's nearly did the Mount Rainier tour and all, loved it. Now it's changed. Yeah, Washington's gone trash, bro. Washington is by far the worst. It's becoming the worst state in history now, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. It's become one of the worst in the state, dude. Or worse in the country. I said state, worse in the country. It just blows my mind how dumb. I like honestly, like I mean, when you listen to Bob Ferguson, and I know you guys aren't from Washington, but I mean, like literally, dude, the guy. I don't think he has. This is what happens when you, unfortunately, you Bob Ferguson, who's the governor of Washington State, he is a lifetime public servant. He was the head of the AG's office, right? Attorney General's office. And when that's all you do is you're just a public servant and you're out there, and yes, you might be one of the top guys from a law standpoint and understand the laws and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But when it comes to understanding microeconomics, macroeconomics, when it comes to understanding business and what you should and shouldn't do, when it comes to understanding just a budget in general, this guy is clueless, like literally clueless. So yes, he might be smart and know the rules and know the law and what you can and can't do. But that's like literally like 5% of anything that happens in the state of Washington. Like when you're running the government, there's so much that goes into the budgetary side of it, and so much that goes into just it blows my mind how dumb. Like, I mean, like honestly, I don't know who's telling him, like who's feeding him information, but it's so bad, dude. So bad. And this is the kind of shit that just pisses me off, dude. Is right here, dudes. Washington State families with income in the bottom 20% pay 13.8% of their total incomes. Those with incomes in the top 1% pay only 4.1% of the income. And he's using this percentage, right? This is what politicians do, dude. Politicians use these percentages and it makes you go, oh, wow, they're paying 13.8% and they're only paying 4.1%. Oh my gosh, this is such a ripoff. And it's like, dude, like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, do the numbers, do the math. Like, why don't you talk in terms of math? You know what I mean? Like literally talk in terms of math. And it's like right here, the bottom 20% in income pays 13.8, which accounts for 2.9 billion in state revenue. Like literally, the bottom 20% of people only accounts for 2.9. The revenue, the amount of revenue, or the total revenue for Washington is about 60 to 70 billion dollars. And right now, the one he's talking about only accounts for 2.9 billion% of the state's revenue. The bottom 20% only represents 12% of Washington's population. And it said, and the top 20% in income pays between 4 to 8%, which accounts for 27.5 billion in state revenue. Like, so double the amount of people pay almost 10 times more taxes than the bottom 20%. And I'm like, yo, you're focusing so hard on such a small freaking number, dude. Like literally a small number that you're missing. You're in such a micro view of this that you're missing out on the total macro view of what's going on. And this is what sucks when you have these public servants who have never been in business, who don't even know economics. This is a perfect example of a guy who does not know economics because of what he just posted right there. And that's where I'm like, yo, dude, yeah, you went to law school, but you know nothing about economics. You know nothing about the economy, you know nothing about business. And that's the sad part. And on top of that, I have to say all that, dude, like this isn't even accounting for the amount of state benefits from taxpayers that are given to the bottom 20%. So yeah, they might pay, 13.8% of their taxes, which is about 2.9 billion, but they're getting so much back. The bottom 20% of Washington gets so much back in state benefits from SNAP, from Medicare, from, Apple Care, all these things. And this is across the board. This isn't just Washington. This is almost every single blue state across America. And it just sucks. It sucks to see, dude. And it is delusional. It's delusional. And it really frustrating. After this income tax came through in Washington, it lit a fire under me, dude. It lit a fire under me. Like I haven't had a fire lit under me for quite a while when it came to politics and when it came to this. But when someone starts putting their hand in my pocket, when people start putting in their hand in my retirement, when people start putting their hand in something that I built, now I take it personal, right? And before, the reason why you lived in Washington was because they didn't have an income tax. They might have had some taxes here and there, but I mean, didn't have the income tax. Now you're attacking a whole nother class of people, and it's to a point where, like, I'm fed up with this shit, dude. Like, I'm over it. You know what I mean? Now you either leave Washington or you fight back. I don't know, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what the best answer is. You know what I mean? Do you fight back, or do you just dip out like everyone else? Do you pull Howard Schultz and just dip out, or what? So I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's just super annoying. Not all conservatives are MAGA. I would agree. I'm a conservative, but I don't consider myself a MAGA. Like, obviously, I support a lot of the conservative movement, but doesn't mean that I'm MAGA by any means. There's a lot of things that Trump has done that I don't agree with. You guys, I already told you, like going to war with Iran. I'm not a fan of going to war. Like, I don't think that I get that there's a reason for it. I get what they're trying to do. Like, I can come to terms with why they're doing it. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to agree with it. You know what I mean? I don't think people should be dying over war. Like, I just, and it just kind of sucks, like I said. But I understand why he's doing it, why at least why he says he's doing it, to protect Americans because of Iran. I do know that Iran is definitely a terrorist threat. I do know that they are probably they are the number one organizer out there for terrorists, like and terrorist organizations. So I'm not totally against it, but I don't think people should be dying over it. Americans. I don't, if Iranians, and their officials are, dying from it, so be it. But when Americans start to die over it, I have a different issue because, I grew up, here in Washington and Seattle. This is a very, very military, very, very popular military area, right? I mean, we have some of the largest bases in the world here just in Washington alone. And so you meet friends and you have family and you have everyone that's, been through that. We grew up through the Iraq war. You know what I mean? We saw what Iraq had did to our friends, what it did to our family, what it did to, friends, husbands didn't come home, so you have, widows out there. I mean, it's just a ton of things, dude. And you just don't want that. I don't want to see that again because we spent our whole childhood going through the Iraq war, and I'm over it, dude. Understand how the world influences money. Crypto doesn't exist in a vacuum. True. Jamie, what's up, man? My son is going to play bagpipes for Prime Minister of Ireland and our presidents on Tuesday. Dude, that is badass, bro. Seriously, address the thumbnail. Dude, I was waiting for someone, dude. That is so funny. Dude, I was waiting for someone. I put that out there. I was laughing, dude. So I made a thumbnail and it was AI generated and I was laughing at it. I was telling Fan was sitting next to me, dude. And I was laughing at it. And as much as I tried to make the photo look like me. I was telling the AI to, like, literally the photo does not look like me. And it just kept popping out the same thing, dude. And I started laughing. I was like, you know what, dude? I'm just going to go for it and see what anyone says. And, dude, it took until 58 minutes into the stream for someone to finally... Dude, I should give you a prize. I don't know what the prize would be, but, dude, I was waiting. You're the first one to actually bring that up. Dude, that's so funny, dude. Did you AI that pic? That's so funny. I was waiting for that, man. Oh, dude. He's on a fabrication now. He's 13. That's pretty cool, dude. Robo lawnmowers are killing that. Cars are getting so complicated. That they are, dude. You can't even work on cars. My truck, my fuel regulator went out on my truck, dude. It's the most ridiculous. You have to literally almost pull your damn engine to put a freaking fuel regulator in on the truck. Which, by the way, I sold my truck. I got pissed. I said enough's enough. I sold the truck. Sold the truck, guys. Just to let you know. No, we need to address this pic on the thumbnail. That's so funny, dude. I'm cracking up, man. Oh, hey, Austin. Run for. I don't know if I can, dude. I don't know if I don't know if that's where I want to put my energy and time. That's the thing, dude. That's the hard part, dude. Is it worth all the time and energy to take away from your family and your kids to go sit in a room full of a bunch of people that you disagree with and argue over things that, especially here in Washington, that just, majority of the people here are Democrats. And, even if you are slightly conservative, like it's an uphill battle constantly, dude. And it's like, is that what I want to go spend my time doing? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, dude. Hey, Austin, just got here for a few pullback for XRP. You think? Oh yeah, dude. XRP, like I said, we're gonna probably have a pullback. I mean, how far down the pullback's gonna happen, I don't know, but I think that we're gonna definitely have probably a pullback. I was pulling out the weekly on this thing, and you can see there's a pretty good fair value gap down here at the $1 on the weekly, dude. Like, there's a very big liquidity grab down here. Like, there's a lot. There's a massive amount of liquidity between $1 and 75 cents. And you can see this came down and hit it, but it didn't actually fill the entire thing. And this one came down and hit it as well, about 112. Didn't actually hit it. So, I mean, it didn't fill this gap. And eventually these things will get filled. I mean, like, for the most part, they tend to get filled. I mean, you can see this one got filled down here with Ethereum. And there's another one sitting right down here at 1709 that I do think. I just showed this chart earlier. There's a massive liquidity grab down here, which is why the thumbnail said that. Why do you rob banks? That's where the money is. Why do you rob banks? Are you asking why don't I rob banks, guy? Not to mention they're usually the ones signing the payroll checks. They get AppleCare. Yeah, they get AppleCare, dude. So yeah, a majority of people here, if you make less than like $70,000 in the state of Washington, you can receive state benefits, dude. Actually, I think it's 85,000. If you make less than 85,000, you can get state benefits here in the state of Washington. Dental's free, Medicare's free, lunches are free, everything's free, dude. You get WIC, you get SNAP. I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And and then you got people, and unfortunately, I mean, I'm not saying that some people do need it. Like, some people do need it. That's where I said I might be conservative, but I mean, when it comes to state benefits, I do agree that some people actually do need the benefit. There are a lot of people out there that, that can't make ends meet off of Social Security. I mean, their Social Security is like $1,300 a month. That's all they have. And so, yeah, there has to be other benefits to help these people stay above the poverty line. Because again, if you take that away, they just continue to fall. The poverty line continues to fall, or the poverty line continues to go up. Right? You're going to have more people on poverty. And so I do agree that there's a fine balance between that, but you got to find the right balance. And unfortunately, I don't think we've ever found the right balance. Leave Washington, come to Vegas. That'd be pretty cool, dude. Far left agenda as just as bad as the far right. Yeah, I agree, dude. There's so many things that are on the MAGA side that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? I really don't. But there's some things I do agree with, and there's things on the Democratic side that I agree with that a lot of people wouldn't agree with. So, like I said, that I think we need more moderates. We need to find more moderates, and unfortunately, moderates have gone bye-bye. It's hard to find a good moderate. Sounds like you're moving to Texas. I might. You won't see me in any big public events for a while. Me either, dude. I'm not going to any big public events, dude. Like, after the whole thing with Iran and everything, like, dude, hell no, dude. You won't see me. You'll see me at soccer games. That's about as far as I'll go. I'm not saying Iran's innocent, but we all remember, in Iraq, never believe anything the political elites tell us. 100%, dude. Yeah, the mass destruction, the weapons of mass, the WMDs. I mean, this is where I get. This is where we grew up with this, Kev. That's what I was saying. Like, we were fed lies about the Iraq war. Like, that's all been a lie. And it's sad to say that, because like I respect everyone that served in it, and respect all the people that were out there fighting for a cause. But then to come out find out that cause was a lie to us, it just breaks my heart. You know what I mean? And then here we are having people say, you know what I mean? Like, even when Trump goes out there and is like, we've taken them all out, and like, they have nothing to stand on. Okay, if they have nothing to stand on, bro, why is the Strait of Hormuz shut down? Why are they controlling it still? Right? Why? Tell me that. I mean, if we're really going in there and doing that, then what is going on, dude? I don't know. Just my own opinion. I was late. Observer, yeah. I knew it. Yeah, it was pretty funny, dude. I was waiting for someone to bring that up. We place the most arrogant liars as civil servants. Dude, it's so crazy, dude. People act like sheep. They do. And they're sheep. They're most of them are wolves in sheep's clothing is what they are, dude. I might head down to Rockport, your thumbnail, man. I know, dude. I'm so funny. I was waiting for someone to say something about that the whole time, dude. I didn't know that. Lots of Texas representing crypto. There's a lot of people in crypto that are representative of Texas. Even Austin, hope you're doing well. I just got home from a 12-hour day. Damn, Gary. Miss anything? No, we're just talking about randomized, talking about politics, talking about everything. I was ranting about how pissed off I was about our governor out here putting this whole income tax on us. It's just super annoying, bro. And then you have this active shooter thing out here, which is just crazy, dude. Active shooter report out of Michigan synagogue. So crazy to me, dude. God, dude, it's so crazy. You're always gonna have stuff like this, dude. This is just wild. Unfortunately, sad days, man. Sad days ahead for people attacking each other, man. Let's see here. I seen Austin at a soccer game once, and he cussed me out and threw a soda at me. It is something in your free product. I just took a whole class to a Kings game in Sacramento. You're feeding into the fear again. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't plan on I just don't plan on going to any like large events. Like, I'm not talking like I'd go to a Kings game. I'd have no problem going to I'm just talking about like outdoor. Like, I'm not going to any outdoor events. Like, I don't really go to any events. Like, I don't know, dude. I just guess I don't. I don't know. Iran being done to hurt BRICS. Could be, yeah. Let's see, Ohio. Let's say Ohio is 20K and under for state benefits. That's pretty low, dude. The U.S. themselves are blocking the Strait of Hormuz just as the happened of stolen the Venezuela, almost like they want the prices to go up. Well, I mean, I think that they I mean, you got to think. You want if the prices go up, dude, you can make a ton of these people make a ton of money, dude. I mean, look, ExxonMobil's killing it right now, dude. BP's killing it. ExxonMobil's been killing it over the last week or since the war happened, dude. I told you guys this, like, literally. Didn't I say this on stream, dude? I literally said when the whole thing was happening back whenever it was. Let's go to 3 months. When the whole Iran thing was being talked about, dude. This whole thing was being talked about. Venezuela, all this stuff, dude. I could probably go clip it, dude. You could have got this for like almost $100. Exxon was $100. You could be up literally $50 per stock right now. When we first started talking about this on stream, I was talking about everyone saying, I said, getting into energy, getting into gas is probably going to be big. Once the whole Venezuela thing happened, dude, I was like, yo, like this is where some of the money is going to be. And you can see, I mean, executives over here, oil executives are making hand over fist. I mean, look at it, dude. I mean, it was down at $112 beginning of the year. Now it's at 154 on just an ExxonMobil stock. Let's go look at BP. 3 months, right? BP hasn't grown as much as Exxon, but I mean, you could have got it at $33 beginning of the year, right? Now it's up to 42. I mean, significant growth just in stock because of this. Yeah. So, and that's not to include all the other things that are happening because of this. Maybe AI is here to save the human race. Maybe. I'm not attending any Iranian ceremony. Steel, oil creates a crisis, drives price up, sells oil. Yeah, I mean, no different than crypto, right? You drive up crypto, get all excited. We got the Clarity Act coming. We got the Genius Act. Dude, crypto is going to be, America's going to be the crypto capital of the world. It's going to be the best. Crypto rises, dude. Everyone's excited. We're starting to get momentum behind it. And then what happens, dude? Institutions sell. They see this price, they sell, and they keep selling to drive down the price to where there's going to be now a better price because they're going to create the fear, they're going to create the panic, they're going to create everything. No different, dude. The oil prices are doing the exact same thing as the crypto prices. Dude, this is a very typical thing we've seen in any trade out there. This is nothing new. You think I think that's I don't know, man, with the whole Epstein thing. Like, that's another thing too. Like, I disagree. I think the Epstein files should be out there. Like, that's one thing I totally has got me. When it comes to, like, I voted for no wars. I voted for clean food in school lunches, and we haven't got that yet either. And just clean foods in general. So there's been a failure on that. Like, all my things that I voted for, I've gone flat. And the other one obviously is you want the Epstein files out there. I think that's a super important thing. I think people should have the right to review those things. I think the people who hurt those women and the underage kids should be held accountable. And unfortunately, there's been zero accountability for that, and that is what pisses me off the most, dude. Like that is the one thing that I think has pissed me off the most is because of that for sure. This whole Iran thing is amused. It is. Austin, I really don't want to honestly thank you and the entire team for all your help and appreciate how well you enjoy each other here in our bubble. I appreciate you too, Adam. And sorry I'm not always so responsive, and sorry I'm not always there and in the space, but I try to be. I try to respond as best I can. So, but I do appreciate you, Adam. Thanks for saying that, dude. Yep, we took our 8th grade basketball team to Sacramento for the game last night, and as we were sitting there, I was seeing posts on X to avoid large gatherings. Yeah, Austin, you want to say you did a great job, Lord John. I appreciate you, Big John. Thanks for being here, man. Inspect false flags from you know who if Trump backs out of Iran war. I was in Chelan when I was a kid, just walked down the lake anytime. I know, that was Hogzilla. Chelan's amazing, dude. Do I think that they raise interest rates? I hope not. So every time the Middle East gets invaded, the real reason is oil. Every other narrative is a fairy tale. Yeah, it's all for the oil, bro. It's all control. Oil controls everything, dude. You got to think Iran. You got this. This is such a play. This is such a geopolitical play. I don't know how much you guys follow this, but I mean, who is China's biggest suppliers of oil, and who is Russia's biggest suppliers of oil? And you got to realize Iran, they were using Iran. I mean, Iran was the hub for China and for Russia to get around the tariffs. They used them to get around the tariffs. They used them to get around any restrictions or any restriction that Trump would put on them, anything like that. They would go through Iran, they would go through Venezuela, any of that kind of stuff, right? And so what has Trump done? I mean, Trump has taken out Venezuela and established that they control the oil reserves, and then now they've taken out Iran, and they're saying that they're going to establish to control the oil reserves. And so you're taking out a huge portion of where China and Russia get their oil from, and eventually, at this rate, I mean, we don't know now, but I mean, in 5-10 years from now, we could look back and it's really going to be. We're either going to say this was a great move or a bad move, and we won't know. We won't know until 5-10 years down the road. But we could look back and say, China is now buying oil from the United States because of the control they have over Iran and the control they have over Venezuela. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but when I look at it, that's kind of from a geopolitical standpoint. That's the move. Those are the moves to make if you wanted to control the oil, and then you wanted to control Russia and China. You got to think China has to import a majority of their oil. Russia's in the same boat. They import a majority of their oil, and if you control the oil, you control the masses. You control it all. And so, I mean, yeah. But how are you going to force World War III when you control the oil, dude? Like, you can only go so far in a war if you don't have enough oil. I mean, in all reality. So, again, we won't know really. It's only common sense to buy oil when wars are mentioned. What's genius in buying it in water reserve stocks and crypto, but water assets aren't sexy right now. I would agree. Yeah, they're not. That's why I call the petrodollar. That's why we call fiat the petrodollar. Yeah. Is the thumbnail AI? Who is that guy? Yeah, I made a thumbnail just playing around, and it was Fan and I were laughing at it, and then I was like, I'm going to use it and to see what anyone says. And dude, it took so long for you guys to start saying something about the thumbnail. I like my thumbnail, dude. My thumbnail is great, dude. It's so funny though. Like I was just like, it just made this thumbnail, and like, dude, doesn't look anything like me. I was cracking up over it though. Like, oh my god, dude, that's so funny, man. I was waiting for someone to say something, dude. Oh, dude, it's about water, guys, not oil. It's funny how they said they'll destroy the deep state when Geopolitical is literally ran by the deep state. These are the plans. I know. And then you got to listen to Lindsey Graham, right, talk. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude. Like the warmongers, dude, the neocons, just, oh my God, it kills me, dude. I'm so against it. I'm so against these people, dude. And so one thing that just infuriates me, dude, is that like, that was the top of my agenda, dude. That's why I voted for the Tulsi Gabbards of the world. Keeping us out of war, not being in a war. Like, where the hell is she, dude? Still shilling XRP even after Ripple just used retail money to buy back 750 of their own corp stocks. Just talking about it, dude. I mean, talking about XRP, and we talk about leverage trading on it every day, dude. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, HBAR. Like I'm talking about it I usually talk about it from a leverage standpoint. I don't really talk about XRP from all the other little things that everyone talks about. My channel's kind of evolved to more of me talking about what I'm going to do from a trading standpoint. I talk about the news, I talk about the things that are good for crypto, things that are bad for crypto, and at the end of it, I talk about where I'm going to put my trades in, and that's really what it comes down to, dude. And did you all actually see there's a new 125K square office in San Francisco? Tulsi Gabbard was a political terrorist. Yeah, people are just mad because she jumped ship, bro. I mean, like you can't say she's a political terrorist, dude. I don't think that's fair. You can't be mad because someone jumped ship because she doesn't agree with the politics of what they were doing. Right? I mean, and I think it sucks for her because she jumped right into bed with Trump, and I mean he went kind of against everything that she kind of ran on. You know what I mean? So, and the reason why she got out of the Democratic Party is because they started blacklisting her from everything, dude. I mean, of course you're gonna jump ship, dude. Can't stand Lindsey Graham. I despise that. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I can't despise Lindsey Graham's, I think, one of the worst people out there, dude. Like, without a doubt. Listen to him talk. I mean, he is not for America. It's just as simple as that, dude. And if you're not for America and you're sitting in the Senate, you're sitting in a Senate seat, you're sitting in a Congress seat, you're a congressperson, and you are not for America, you're for other things, like F you, dude. You know what I mean? Like you should be gone. Where's the money from No War with Iran shirts from Tulsi? I know. I despise her for her anti-marriage equality activism. Gotcha. So the other reasons, but doesn't make her a political terrorist though, right, guy? I mean, like everyone has their and I would agree, right? I mean, marriage equality. I mean, anti-marriage equality. I would agree. Like again, different thoughts, right? Everyone has different thoughts, you know. And I can see why you'd be upset about that. Absolutely, absolutely. And again, politics, dude. I don't know why I stopped my thumbnail up here. Sorry, guys. I was trying to show off. This looks just like me, guys. What are you talking about, dude? It looks just like me. That's a deal breaker for me. I get it, dude. And there's deal breakers for a lot of things, dude. I mean, I get we all have our deal breakers, and like right now, my deal breaker with the MAGA movement is this war. I mean, that's a deal breaker for me, dude. Like, I get why they did it, why they're doing it. I get the control, but like, we talked about no new wars. I mean, that's literally Trump ran on not starting any new wars. He started the war with Iran. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just disappointing. You know what I mean? Not here to say like, oh, like screw Trump, oh, blah blah. I'm just like, it's just disappointing, dude. Just disappointing. I just peeped the thumbnail, looking slim, brother. No, that was AI generated. Do you think XRP will drop more? Probably will. Yeah. Lindsey Graham, Schumer, Mitch McConnell. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been in that have just been complete and total ass. Just like Trump being and a warmonger should be a deal breaker for you. Yeah, but none of that stuff's been. I mean, the warmonger for sure now. Yeah, but I don't agree with the first one. Guy. I don't necessarily agree with the first one. It's disgusting how people who you don't vote for plan these wars. It's so true, bro. He does, yeah. This war is never Trump's idea. He does it. He's told it 100%, dude. And it goes back to, and again, not to get into it, but I mean, we go back to there's so much conspiracy out there about the Israeli government. I mean, I'm not going to get into it here, but I mean, you go back and look at the government with Israel. I mean, there's some crazy stuff. There's some crazy stuff uncovered. Whole Epstein Israel connection, all that kind of stuff is pretty wild. It is pretty wild, dude. But and just because you speak out against Israel does not make you anti-Semitic. I just want to put that out there because I think that's a crazy topic out there on X right now that people could like Lindsey Graham, for instance, is like arguing that if you're against Israel, what Israel's doing, that makes you an anti-Semite. And it's like, no, dude, you could be against the government. It doesn't mean that you're against the people. You know what I mean? Like, you could be against what that government's doing. You could be against all the things that the government's done. The Israeli government doesn't make you an anti-Semite. And that's the argument I hate on X right now. Is that anything that you say against the Israeli government you instantly become an anti-Semite. And it's like, yo, dude, no. Like, it's like, it's almost like when Obama was in office. If you talk down on Obama, you're racist. Like, you hate black people. And it's like, dude, no, I can hate what he's doing. Doesn't mean that like I'm racist towards him. No one's talking about the fraud in Minnesota anymore. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening, Chameleon. I would agree. It's facts. It's facts right there, dude. And what happened to the whole Minnesota fraud, dude? And nothing's gonna come of it, dude. That's sad. That's as sad as it is. Nothing's gonna come of it, dude. Wait till internet ID coupled with AI kicks in. We won't get away with talking like this online. Oh, absolutely, Kev. We're gonna get done, toasted. Bye. You know what I mean? Why are we so tied to Israel? Good question, Rocco. That's a good question. I think you should always ask that question. Why are we so tied to them? That's a really good question, dude. And a lot of people have theories, right? There's so many theories out there. So many theories out there. I guess you just got to find the right theory that sticks for you. But but like I said, you start questioning that kind of stuff, you start bringing that kind of stuff up. It's the quickest way to get canceled in today's culture, which is crazy, right? The conservatives are so against cancel culture, yet you bring up Israel and they're the quickest ones to cancel you now. It's funny how that shifts, right? That timeline shifts quick. We need the flower children of the 60s to save us. I'm down with that. So anyways, how about that Indiana Bears? That's so weird, dude. Both Democrats and Republicans are corrupt, so we never have a real chance. Majestic, it's tough, right? It's so bad now. Kanye knows why. Yeah, I mean, Kanye has his opinions, right? I mean, and he has every right to be upset, dude. I think Kanye has every right to be upset. I mean, I don't know if to go to the lengths of what he's gone to. I don't know about that. I mean, he's gone to some pretty wild lengths to, he's definitely anti-Semitic for sure. Like, no doubt about it. But I mean, he's given his reasons as to why. And it made me, I mean, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars locked, he's got canceled everything, dude. Like, but yeah, Kanye went off the rails, bro. Yeah, they're not even Semites in the first place. Even Christians is an anti-Semite by definition. You're right. RPM, you're actually right. I mean, if you go back and look at Christianity and where Christianity is evolved, I mean, and then where, Judaism is. I mean, there's a conflict for sure, without a doubt. Yeah, right. Question Israel, you might get into a car. Dude, your phone might blow up, right? Your phone might blow up in your pocket. Like, and it's crazy. It's like you go out there, look at the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens and these people that have come out like hard on Israel, dude. Like I'm surprised. Yeah, I mean, if something happens to them, I mean, you're going to obviously contribute it back to to Israel in some way. Austin, any thoughts on the stock Take-Two, which is a company of I don't know. I did hear that they're going to be coming out here. You talking about Lex Friedman? Yeah. He's anti. Yeah, he is an anti. Anti-Semitism used to be that you hate Jews. Now you're the one when you don't like you. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that works, right? It's no different than just being like someone using the race card on you now. Like you go out there and they do something and all of a sudden like you're racist because you're white. You're racist and they you don't like black people and it's like, yo, dude, what? You don't like Asian? I'm like, I'm married to Asians. I'm married to an Asian. You know what I mean? Like, how do you? My kids are Asian, but like it's the same thing they use now. It's like, well, it's like when you listen to like Piers Morgan. I don't know if you listen to him, but like anything that you say in regards to Jews, like he instantly calls you an anti-Semite. If you're like, I don't agree with the war in Iran, I don't agree that Israel should have pulled us in here, and he's like, well, then you must be an anti-Semite. It's like, no, dude. Yeah, and then Islamophobic, right? Being Islamophobic. I mean, you go down and listen to the New York mayor. I mean, crazy discussions with the New York mayor, dude. Like him calling people Islamophobic. I mean, like, dude, they just threw bombs in the middle of a street, bro. What do you want people to feel? They have to feel some way. You know what I mean? And to feel like I always get a kick out of it, dude. You know who made a perfect? It was actually Mark Cuban, dude. As much as Mark Cuban's, I think he's lost his mind too. But I mean, like Mark Cuban made a pretty good statement when he was talking about like, when it was like people who are wearing a hood walking down the street and you clench your purse or you cross the street. And it's not that you're discriminating. It's that you're trying to protect yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're the first thing is to protect yourself and your kids and your family. So yeah, when you see a person in a hood with their hands in their pocket in the middle of the night in downtown, you're either gonna cross the street or you're gonna be very cautious walking by them. It's not that you're discriminating against the person; it's that you're taking precaution, right? That's the risk management that everyone should have going through their brain when they are coming upon these things. And so yeah, unfortunately, when you see things that are like happening in New York where they had a pipe bomb and they threw it into a crowd of people and yeah, unfortunately, when people see that or they see a person that looks just like that guy, they're probably going to go, oh shit, I probably don't want to be here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And they shout, yeah. Yeah. Dude throws a bomb, shouts, yeah, Allah Akbar. And your mayor comes out and says, your protest is steep in white supremacy. I know. Isn't that crazy, bro? And don't get me wrong, Jake Long, the guy who kind of was like out there with the U-Haul and everything he's doing, like he's obviously provoking the hell out of it. Like he is a big provoker. Like I mean, he's definitely a radical. He's radicalized for sure. If I see a man with a beard and a hoodie, I usually think it's just Austin. Spiders are artists. Some very cool looking webs. I would agree. There's an active effort on all Western worlds to take over, but I'm just, yeah. I mean, you can feel that, right, Kev? And you can see it right now. I mean, what's happening in New York, I think is kind of crazy, right? I would agree that there's some, but you can see that with everything. I mean, you can see that in the Jewish community, you can see it in the Muslim community. It's almost like what Joe Rogan said the other day. I don't know if you guys watched his podcast the other day. He basically said, you have all these countries out here who, like, let's give China. China, for instance, is going to be China. They're only going to accept Chinese people in China. You know what I mean? They're not going to allow immigrants into China. Russia's the same way. Russia is going to be Russia. They're not going to allow immigrants into Russia. And so you have all these countries out here who, accept who they are from their race, from their culture, whatever that might be, right? Jamaica. You go down the list of all these different countries and, and it's all good. Everything's good. But then soon as you have a country who is all about white, Poland, for instance, Poland's a good example of like, hey, we are a white country and we're only, we're only going to allow white people, to live in this country. It becomes white supremacy. It becomes white. So anything when it becomes white, it is funny how it shifts. But if it's any other culture or any other ethnicity, it's okay, right? But if it's white, it's not. It's you're a white nationalist, or you're a nationalist, or you're a what's the other word they're using now? You are a what's the word? What's it called? Where you're like an isolationist. You're an isolationist, and all this kind of crazy stuff. I hate when I walk through them. Oh, the cobweb, dude, they're the worst. I always hold my arm out in front of me. Yeah, dude. I do. When I was in landscaping, dude, I'd always walk through things and I'd be going like this. Probably not a good sign, but I would literally be like wiping things. I would use like if I'm like weed eating, I'd like use the weed eater to like hit it out of the way and stuff all the time, dude. Be like pulling. Russia's a federation with a lot of ethnically different people. Yeah, but I mean, like they might be ethnically different, but so. Is there a bunch of Muslims in Russia? Does Russia? I mean, like, is there a lot of people from Somalia in Russia? Are they letting Somalians live in Russia? Are they letting people from Iran live in Russia? Are they allowing people from? They are. Wow. Okay, I take that back then. I guess I just never. I didn't think that would. Dude, is that really? Everyone seems to live fine together in Russia. The West is purposely being sabotaged. Interesting. So yeah, I guess there is. Right now, there's about 15,000 Muslims that live in Russia right now. Interesting. 15,000. That's actually a very small amount compared to the Russian population now. There are Muslims, many countries there. Interesting. Like, are they like when you say many countries? Like, what does that mean? So there's 1,000 Somalis that live in Russia. That is the smallest of all small. Thousand Somalians live in there. So okay, maybe Russia has some. There are Muslim many countries. 15%. Has anyone watched the Dragon's Prophecy? I have not, dude. Khabib is Russian. I didn't. I meant like I guess you're right. Khabib is. Yeah, you're right. Khabib is Muslim. Good old Khabib. You're right. He is. That's right. There are Muslim many countries there. But are they in Russia though? Like, I mean, there's countries around it. Like, but like, is like, I mean, I guess what are they provinces? Provinces. I mean, I guess it's a republic, right? Republic of Dagestan would be what it is. But I mean, is that still is that a province? Is that a I guess maybe it's like a state, maybe, or I guess why we're calling it a republic. I guess they're all republics, so each there's different republics inside Russia. Divide and conquer. Now do UK? Yeah, UK is probably crazy, dude. Kazakhstan, but is it Kazakhstan? Aren't they a different country though? Aren't they a different country? Yeah. So okay, so it is a republic of Russia. Okay, so the republics of Russia, different republics. It's part of the Russian Federation. Gotcha. We got Selmo. What's up, Selmo? Yeah, we got F Joe in here. I always get K Tau, divide and conquer. But all right, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I've been on here way too long talking about this, but I'm anticipating the markets based off where we're at right now. Like I said, if you're looking to get in, I mean, right now the charts are telling us that we're most likely going to come down. I mean, you can see the charts right here. This could come up just a little bit more before we come down, but we haven't had a full reset since February 2nd of 2026. So we're well overdue for a reset on the daily. The 4 hours at the bottom here, which means that this could probably come down to a nice little full reset as well. 12 hours working its way up, but I mean, this will probably, you can see we barely get back about 85. So probably by wait about 6 to 8 hours and see where the markets are going to go. But I mean, come Friday, we're probably in for some red, dude. The guy across the street from me lived in Kazakhstan. He was a brain doctor. He can't get a license here. Oh, damn. Yeah, definitely be safe out there, guys. Absolutely. What's up, Phil? Good to see you, buddy. That's crazy, Anthony. That's crazy, dude. But yeah, guy, have a great day too. Good to see you guys. Yeah, be safe out there. Griff, peace to you as well. Like I said, if I'll be back on here tomorrow, dude. Tomorrow, same time, same place. Yeah, make sure you guys do the thumbs up if you haven't subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Love you guys a ton. And we're out. Peace out, everyone.